Hello and welcome. I'm Sandra Ray, an author, healer, spiritual teacher, and a speaker. And I help women to live a life more extraordinary through manifestation, meditation, mastering your mindset, and also with a little help from the angels. So I'm here today to talk about something that I think will really help you to live life to its full potential, and that is how to stay uplifted in a world that wants to bring you down. Now, we're going to be talking about the importance of staying uplifted and inspired and how you can do just that. But first, I want to mention that really being in a state of upliftment, being inspired on a daily basis, first of all, it is possible. And secondly, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Because the world today, it feeds us all this fear, all this information about the things going on in the world and devastation. And it's not to say that isn't happening, but a lot of the time it's glorified or dramatized by the news and the newspapers. And then we're also fed all this information from advertising, telling us that we're not good enough, that we need more, that we need to have this cosmetic product or these clothes or this phone or this whatever it is to be a happy person. And we see all these images of these people going about their lives in the ads, feeling happy, laughing, all the beautiful people looking amazing. And we think that that's what we need to aspire to. And if we don't have those products or those services, that we won't be full and happy and complete. And really the opposite is true. The need to be fulfilled through products or services or through some outside influence is never going to result in feeling happy and uplifted on a daily basis, because there's always going to be more. There's always going to be some new product. There's always going to be some new service or something that you will want to attain or aspire to. So it's going to be a constant cycle of getting one thing but then wanting another, and maybe it's the new iPhone, or maybe it's the latest technology, or maybe it's the new car, or whatever it is, but there's always going to be something. So what I want to tell you is that you don't need to step onto that cycle of constantly feeling that you have to turn to the outside world to fill you up, that you can go within and get everything you need from within you. And really, it's so important to know this and to realize this and to know how to do this, because if you are relying on the outside world to give you happiness and to help you stay uplifted, then you are going to struggle and you're going to be in a place of constantly needing more and more and constantly feeling unfulfilled. And I know that that's not a way to live, and I know that you don't want to live that way. And simply by being here, I know that you realize there is another way, there is something more, and there is something that you can do about it. So as the vibration of the planet, of humanity, is rising and getting higher and higher, it's going to be more difficult to stay in lower vibration energies of lack, of suffering, of struggle, of feeling unfulfilled. It's going to be more difficult to stay in those low vibrations, because all around us, the energy of the planet is lifting up. There's people rising up. And for each person who raises their vibrational frequency, that then has an influence on the vibrational set point for the rest of humanity. One person, by raising their frequency to a love frequency, can influence hundreds of thousands of people. So as each person rises up and as each person steps into the fullness of their being, into their full potential, into that state of upliftment, it influences everybody else. So very quickly, the vibration of the planet is rising. And as each person begins to step up and to claim their ability to live in states of joy, in states of peace, in states of harmony, in states of happiness, and to live that way, that then influences all of the other people around them. But not only that, it influences hundreds of thousands of people on a vibrational level who that person has never even met. So if you are staying in those low vibrational frequencies, you're going to find it harder and harder to maintain those states, because what's going to happen is, if you're struggling, you're going to feel it more and more. It's going to get more difficult to stay in the energy of struggle, in the energy of suffering. And your soul doesn't want you to stay in that energy. Your soul wants you to rise up with everybody else. So your soul knows that the harder it gets for you to stay in there, the more you're going to do to make a change. Because we all know that when we're in a state of mild suffering or mild struggle, we can maintain that for a long time. We can tolerate mild suffering, and most of us live in a state of mild suffering. And we think that that's our normal. So we don't even know that we're in a state of mild suffering, because we just find that to be our normal state of being. But what happens is, when that suffering begins to rise, when those states of feeling anxious, feeling worry start to take over, and I see it, so many clients are coming to me now saying, I'm living with chronic anxiety, what can I do about it? And that's when it gets to a point where you seek help, where you decide, okay, I have to change. I can't stay like this any longer. And you can wait until that point comes. You can wait until it gets so bad that you have to make a change, that you can't stay suffering any longer because it becomes intolerable. That low level of mild suffering gets to the point where it's actually just intolerable. It becomes more and more severe. Or you can choose to change now without having to wait for it to get to that point. So I would encourage you to do everything that you can in order to consciously change now, without having to wait until you're in that chronic state of anxiety or illness or whatever else, in order for you to make the change, in order to force you to make the change, because your soul will happily support you. But if you are not choosing to change, if you are not choosing to lift your vibration, to get into that energy that is flooding the planet right now, then your soul, in the most loving way, is going to give you a gentle nudge, and it's going to say, come on, it's time to catch up. And if you're still not listening, then that little nudge might turn into a little push. And really, your soul just wants you to be happy. It wants you to be fulfilled. It wants you to live in states of bliss and joy. And if you're not there, then it will support you and help you to get there if you work with it. But if you're not working with it, if you're going against it, then it's going to get harder and harder. So if you do decide to step up and to make a change and to claim your ability to live in a state of upliftment, to live in a state of inspiration and joy and peace and harmony, then if you're claiming that, then it's only going to get better and better. The states of peace and harmony and joy and upliftment are only going to become more and more attainable as you align with them, and your capacity to feel better and better is going to grow and grow, and really it's unlimited. So the good news is that once you decide to make that change, that you're going to start really quickly reaching those levels of upliftment and working through the levels, releasing all the heavy stuff, releasing all the anxiety, and changing really quickly if you make the effort to do so. And at the start, it is an effort, because you are changing years of programming, of limited beliefs, of ways of being. And at first, that's hard, because it takes effort to make change, and it takes effort to break old habits. But once you break them, then it all becomes easy. But you have to put in the effort at the start in order to break those habits. Now, not everybody is going to find it that it's an effort. Some people will quickly flow through it and in an instant, if you choose, you can release all the old and step into the new. But for most people, that's too much of a jump. So usually we go from being in a state of anxiety to less anxiety to feeling neutral to maybe feeling better and then feeling happiness and joy and bliss. So it's usually a scale that we move through. So how do you move through this scale? How do you start raising your vibration? How do you start living in upliftment every day so that the world isn't dragging you down? Well, the ways that you can do it are numerous and varied, and you have to find what works for you. But the ways that I stay uplifted and inspired and in a state of raising my vibration are, I'll go through them with you now, are various ways. But firstly, it's through meditation. If you are not meditating, then it's like having a phone and using it all the time and never plugging it in, and you're depleting and depleting and depleting its battery. You have to meditate in order to plug back into your source. Now, maybe there are people who don't have to do that, and there most possibly are people out there who can stay connected to their source, connected to the universe, to the creator, by not meditating, and that is possible. But for most people, especially in the modern lives that we're living, we need to decompress. We need the time to sit and be still and reconnect. And if you're not meditating, then you're not truly reconnecting. And if you are doing meditative things like drawing or gardening or walking, yes, that definitely helps. But I do find that even just spending a few minutes, it doesn't have to be an hour, it doesn't have to be 20 minutes, even spending 5 minutes just sitting in meditation can make all the difference. Even if you're doing the other things, just even trying 5 minutes of meditation a day, and you'll find that once you start doing that, you'll want to do more and more and more because it feels so good. So meditation. The second thing is music. Music has such a power to uplift your energy, your emotions, and the way I use this is just putting on some music that I really love to dance to or to enjoy, having it on when I'm working or when I'm doing just tasks around the house. But also what I like to do is to listen to solfeggio frequencies. Now, these are specific frequencies that are at specific hertz that align your energy to that vibration. It's kind of like a tuning fork. So there are 9 solfeggio frequencies, and there's the lower end all the way up to the highest end, which is meant to be like God frequency. So what I like to do is listen to, there's videos on YouTube that you can listen to that have all 9 solfeggio frequencies, and just listen to them and allow it to gradually lift your vibration and raise your vibrational frequency as you're listening to them, because you become attuned to those hertz as you're listening. It's like that tuning fork. I'll put a link below to a YouTube video that you can watch and listen to if you'd like to do that. The other thing I love to do is to use books to read. Every day I am constantly reading books that are about personal development, books that inspire me, books that are about spirituality, and reading passages that are uplifting, inspiring, and teaching me how to step more and more into my spirituality, into my potential, into the fullness of who I am. And I find that if for some reason I go a couple of days without reading, I miss it, and I miss that inspiration. And it's something that is a constant companion in my life, and it's constantly there to help me to stay uplifted. And I love reading. It's something that I just find is such a great way to stay uplifted and inspired. Also, if you don't like reading, you can listen to podcasts like this one, to uplifting, inspirational content podcasts, whatever it is, just making sure that you are feeding yourself with that content, helping you to stay aligned and inspired, because it really is like food for your mind, for your energy. And just, we all know about feeding our bodies with physical food, but we have to feed our mind our spirit, our soul, with uplifting content, which is in the form of inspiration and inspiring content that we consume. And it could be an inspiring video, could be a video on YouTube, whatever it is that you're listening to, reading, watching, make sure that it raises your energy and that you feel better after having consumed it. The fourth thing is self-care. So I find that it's so important to keep myself uplifted through the foods that I eat, eating healthy, wholesome foods, through drinking plenty of water. So many of us are going around dehydrated and wondering why we're not feeling good. And as you raise your vibrational frequency, it's like that vibration, as it gets higher and higher, you're going to need more water in order to allow that vibration to keep lifting up. You don't want to burn out. It's like that vibration. If you imagine something that's vibrating really fast, it's going to need water to lubricate it. So you need water to keep your vibration lifted. And the more you raise your vibration, the more water you're going to want to drink. Through rest, allowing yourself to rest, allowing yourself to take care of yourself, through giving yourself the rest that you need, maybe taking a day off if you need it, getting the sleep that you need, and just allowing your body to relax and to rest without constantly filling your day with things to do or busyness. I also love to practice yoga. I find yoga amazing. I practice different forms of yoga and I do it every day. And it just helps to get your energy flowing and open up any areas that might be blocked and just release blocked energy. And also just doing things that I love. So spending time with family, playing with my children, spending time with friends, having conversations that uplift me and inspire me, creating content like this. I love teaching, I love reading. So doing things that you love. So just making sure that you're making time every day to do something that you love and that sets your soul on fire. And then finally, people. It is so important to surround yourself with people who uplift you. And even if it's not physical people, it can be mentors, teachers who you connect with either through going to events. It could be people that you watch on videos on YouTube. It could be courses that you take, whatever it is. What I find is when I connect with inspiring people, when I connect with teachers who are living to their full potential and people who are at a point where I aspire to be, that's when I allow myself to raise up to the next level, because you see the possibility, you see the potential in them that you have in you, and you allow yourself to rise up to their level rather than keeping yourself down at a lower level. And if you are surrounding yourself with people who are uninspiring, who are complaining, who are constantly in drama, who are constantly, angry or gossiping, then you're going to resonate at their level and you want to lift yourself up. So it's not to say that you have to get rid of every person who's ever made a complaint. And it's not to judge those people either. It's not about judgment, because that's an energy, a lower energy. It's about choice and choosing who you want to align with and what inspires you and who inspires you. And this is one of the reasons why I created my members group, the Fiercely Spiritual Family, because a lot of people who are coming to me, they were struggling to find other people on the same path, people who they could talk about their spirituality. They were struggling to find content that they could tune into on a daily basis to help them to stay uplifted and inspired and to live their full potential. And really, if you're not living in states of peace, of harmony, of abundance, of joy, of happiness, and feeling inspired, then how are you living your life? Are you living in states of worry, of lack, of frustration, of those lower vibration frequencies? Because if you're settling for anything less than your full potential, then resolve to make a change, resolve to lift yourself up, resolve to be the source of your upliftment and to choose all of those things that help you to stay uplifted. And if you choose to feel uplifted and to enjoy those states of upliftment, but you don't really know how to do that or where to start, then if you would like my support, if you would like me to help you, I would love to share with you about the Fiercely Spiritual Family. If you're inspired to learn more about it, you can go on to sandraray.com/family and you'll find out all about it. I'll put a link to it below the show notes also so that you can click on it. And it's my pure pleasure to inspire you and to help you stay uplifted every day, because I know that that has been the thing that has helped me most, raising my vibrational frequency and staying inspired and uplifted and just being in that state every day and not settling for anything less, because I choose to live my life through freedom, through love, through joy, through peace, through abundance. And it's not to say I don't have bad days. It's not to say I never face a challenge or a problem or a worry, but the amount of time I stay in those vibrations of worry or fear is less and less each time, because I choose to bounce back to states of gratitude and love and joy quicker and quicker. And my hope is that you can choose that as well. So I hope this has helped you in some way. I hope you choose to stay uplifted today and to live your life to its full potential and to just grab life and just live it and enjoy it. So thank you for being here and thank you for listening, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.